This week, we're ranking every single character in the Life is Strange franchise. Join us as we lead up to Reunion by reviewing and ranking every character in the Life is Strange saga so far on this week's HGO Podcast. Hey, welcome back everybody to the HGO Podcast. I'm one of your hosts today, Ethan, and joining me as always is my good friend Hunter. This week we are ranking every single character in the Life is Strange franchise on our way over to Reunion that is out later this week. It should be a good time. But before all that, Hunter, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just swell.
Are you feeling the hype, the anticipation, the joy of joys that is a new Life is Strange game that surely won't disappoint coming in just a few short days?
You know, it's one of those things where I'm eager to see where we get or where it lands compared to everything else.
The plethora of other games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm just I'm having a bit of a, quarter life, third life crisis, really. It's like, it's been 10 years since I played the original, and it's like, on the one hand, very excited, got my Jane Doe shirt on, very excited to have a talk about all these wonderful Life is Strange characters, half of which, looking at the screen, I've completely forgotten. It's going to be a good one, folks. But at the other hand, it's like time, it's like, I don't trust them. It's like, I'm feeling, it's not 2016 anymore. Can they pull it off? Can we come to a satisfying conclusion? I don't know. Who knows? Well, I guess we'll find out soon. But
satisfying conclusion for a story that was concluded 10 years ago.
I mean, trust me, dude. I'm not having a great time. This week has been busy. This week has been a mess. Welcome to a brand new season of the show, by the way, everybody. The boxes are square. I don't know if I like it. We're working on it, okay? We're working on it. We'll see how it goes. But it's just been one of those weeks, where I've just been constantly reminded where it's like, my God, time just keeps on marching forward, dude. I've shaved because for the first time in my life, I wasn't ID'd for something. It's a nightmare. Hunter, where's time going? I'm getting old. What's happening? My knees, Hunter, my knees. What am I going to do?
No. What
am I going to do? Ugh, but hey, let's just, dive straight into it, everybody. Like I say, no new fancy bells and whistles. It's still the HGO Podcast. We're here. See what new games are in the background. I've got you jangling of your keys. You can keep checking the background if you're a video listener, because God knows you need some engagement. But I think for the most part, we should just dive straight in, because I don't think there's any housekeeping or anything like that to go through. So we have prepared earlier, Hunter. I'm going to put it on the screen right now. Huzzah! It's a tier list, everybody. Did you miss this last week? Apparently not. You guys loved last week's episode, which we're absolutely just flabbergasted about, let's be honest.
Yeah. Wasn't expecting it.
The children yearned for us to discuss Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom for the 26th time on the podcast, apparently. This is what the children yearned for. But we're going to do this in the classic tier list fashion. We have got 6 tiers here, Hunter. We've got S tier, obviously, the best of the best, the GOATs. A tier, very good characters. We like them a lot. B tier, they're all right. C is like, D is, get them out of here. And then the worst possible tier for a character is the IDK tier, which means I legitimately do not remember you in the video game, which I think is the worst fate for a character, Hunter. At least if you dislike them, you remember them. If you don't remember them, what's the point?
You see, that's the thing with some of these, though. I feel like this particular list included some of the, granular 2-line Joes.
Yeah, so it was really hard. We couldn't find... The internet hasn't done its job, everything should be on the internet right now. It's 2026. AI's taken over. Where's my tier list with every character in Life is Strange, Hunter? We were looking. I had to add double exposure. We just kept on going. This person added Frank twice, so there's another Frank here. What are we doing? So we're just going to have to roll with the punches and see where this takes us. If there is a character missing, we just spent the past half an hour checking and we think that everybody's here. If there
Playing
is
Where's
somehow,
Waldo.
yeah, if there is somehow somebody missing and it's your favorite character, I am so sorry, but stick yourself in the IDK tier because I don't remember them either. So, the true IDK tier is the people that managed to not end up in the list. There's a dog and a cat in here, dude. I think we got everybody.
Yeah.
We're going to start off with the original Life is Strange. We're going to basically go in any order, really. We can pick and choose if we want to go for main characters first and then, see where that takes us. So be it. But, Hunter, do you want to just start with Max from Life is Strange 1? We are separate. We're differentiating Max from Life is Strange 1 and Double Exposure. We're making that distinction, right? We're going to double that one. I think Chloe and everybody else is kind of the same. It's just there's the age gap,
Yeah.
right? That's the main thing. Is it's 10 years later. They're slightly different characters. So, how do you feel about Max? It's the question in Life is Strange 1, I guess. How do you feel about her? She's a bit of a Marmite character.
I think she's a good lead for the game you're in.
Mm-hmm.
She's got enough to her to make her more than just a lame blank slate kind of character. Well,
Yeah.
I guess some people would be off-put by maybe the way that she's written, but that's also just the writing in the game in general.
I mean, that's just Life is Strange in a nutshell, isn't it? Is cheesy writing. You've always got that kind of separation from the medium when you're like, okay, remember, this game's set in 2013 and it's set in a high school college in Oregon and it's being written by French people. And it's like, you've got to remember that it's like they're writing this from the lens of watching like 80s and 90s high school drama movies, right? They haven't lived it. So you've got that weird kind of separation there. Which I've always think is it's a charming part really of at least the original Life is Strange, I think, is, you have that kind of weird, again, it's like got that nostalgia filter on something that was released for, relatively modern, like, it was a present day story really when it came out. So it's a weird one.
Yeah.
I've always really liked Max. I feel like I'm in the minority here. I know a lot of people, a lot of casual friends who have only played Life is Strange 1, for example, really don't care for Max. And I can see why people don't care for Max. She's a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to writing, a bit like you say, Hunter, the writing's a bit, but also she just, there are a couple of moments where she has, very out of character things where you're like, okay, we're doing this, we're doing that. Okay, there's the writing on the wall, and it's like, are you going to rub it out or not? And it's like, there's very weird options where it's like that. I feel like Max would be very set in her ways on most of these, so it's like it's an interesting one. I like her though. I think she's quite endearing, really. She's a bit dorky, she's a bit nerdy, but also when I played this game, I was also an 18-year-old, which was a bit nerdy and a bit dorky, so kind of related a little bit. So, where are we thinking, Hunter? Where are we thinking for Life is Strange 1, Max Caulfield?
I could see an argument for S tier. I think the lowest we can go is A.
Yeah.
As far as true to what we believe.
I think there are going to be very, controversially, I think there's going to be very few. Well, actually saying that, I'm happy to, we don't lock in here. If we're feeling a bit flexible, we're feeling a bit flexible, right? I'm happy to leave her in A for now. And if we're feeling different, we can shuffle her up, right? Because you've seen these episodes before, ladies and gentlemen. We get a bit too eager. We fill in, like, we go, oh, that's fantastic. We stick a load of stuff in S and then we have to start rejigging. So I'm happy to start her off in A. Just because I know that, not universal. Get the dislikes ready, guys. Get the dislikes ready. Time for the, second most important character in Life is Strange 1, Alyssa, right? Everyone loves Alyssa, so much so. What's your favorite Alyssa moment, Hunter?
Oh my, it's very mean. It's very mean, the one that I remember her most for, because okay, so the physics on her being blasted by the sign in episode 5 were very humorous to me, so I just watched it happen like 3 times before helping her out.
Dude, it's one of those things. Like, there are a couple of moments in the original Life is Strange. Well, you got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, when, like I say, when I originally played this game, I was 18 years old, right? Okay, it's been a decade. Leave me be a little bit. Um, there are some janky physics moments in these games, and there's just some very funny ways. Like, tragic things happen in these games that are just relatively funny. Kate is another one where the game lets you rewind when she like, spoilers for Life is. By the way, all the games are getting spoiled here. If you didn't figure that out,
Yeah.
okay. But it's like when Kate initially jumps, you can rewind it back, but if you let go of the button, she'll just keep like bouncing up and down. I'm like, that's really something the developer should have just locked it in, you know what I mean? Where it was just a forced rewind, she's back up at the top. But
Yeah.
I just had a friend I was watching Scare Stream was just going, did it, like, and it just completely threw them out of it. I'm like, what can you do? It's just the goofy charms of Life is Strange, I guess. And this is one of those characters where she's there. She exists. She has a little bit. She has more to her. She
fills out the school life.
Like, to me, she's like, I'd say a solid C, where it's like a lot of these background characters have like, no real reason to be there. Whereas at least she has these little moments where Max can kind of just be a little guardian angel and just kind of, push her out of the way so she doesn't get hit by a ball or, hit by a sign in a very comical way.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think C is about the right spot for her. Doesn't really she doesn't really have much to her besides save her from danger every episode.
I agree. Next up is the girl that fancies Warren. I don't remember her name, which is already a good start.
Her name is Brooke.
Thank you. You thesaurus of names. That was a weird term. What am I doing? All right. Thanks everybody for listening. Season 7's already stopped. He's gone. Yeah. I hate this I'm so like this again. It's like there's no point to her existing.
She's so adversarial.
She's so adversarial. She's so she's so mean over a bona fide like 3 out of 10 anyway at best. Like, what are we doing, right? Like, to me, she's like a D tier character. I'm sorry, I just have no time for these kind of petty characters. I don't know how you feel, Hunter.
I'm not gonna argue with that. Like, I think I could be convinced to go to C, but
you know what?
I don't feel super strongly about it.
No, it's no, fine. We'll leave her in C for now. We'll leave her in C. I'm fine with that. There are plenty of terrible characters to come. People are probably sitting there going, why the hell haven't we talked about Chloe? So shall we just bring up Chloe Price? Shall we bring up Chloe Price before talking about Warren? Chloe's interesting.
Yeah.
To me, I feel like I'm almost the opposite. 99% of people prefer Chloe to Max. I've always been more of a Max person than a Chloe person, but I think that's just because great performance, but it's just like, dude, Chloe's just an asshole at times, and it's just like,
her
not in an
friendships
endearing way.
Are super toxic a lot of the time, and she's a very compelling character. I won't dispute that, but also a lot of times it feels like things would go better if she just got out of her own way.
Yeah, 100%. I think she's her own worst enemy in a lot of ways, right? Where it's like, if she wasn't so antagonistic, she would probably get a lot further in what she wants. But I think it's interesting, because we're talking about Chloe here, I guess we have to discuss Before the Storm as well as Life is Strange a little bit.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't really have much to say on her characterization in Before the Storm. I think it's really interesting. I don't... You can speak otherwise, but to me, I've always I've always found it interesting that, there is so much media and so much attention on the Max and Chloe dynamic when I never really felt it in the game, which is a controversial enough thing to say. But when I got to Before the Storm, and the second that she meets Rachel Amber, I instantly got that. Like, that was the one where I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I get that. I get it. It's weird. I think that, her and Rachel are a great dynamic, and I would have loved to have explored that more than we got, you know? It's a weird one, right? I like Chloe. I think she's great. I like her almost more in Before the Storm because being in control of her, having her internal monologue helped me kind of understand her a little bit more as well. Um, I can't disagree that she's a great character. Okay, even if I,
Yeah.
to me, she's like, yeah, she is
Like,
like an
for as much as I wouldn't be friends with her
Mhm.
because I'm not gonna put up with that, you know, uh, she is a compelling character, no doubt.
100%. I think she's an S tier character. I think that's a pretty easy, thing to chuck up there, really.
Yeah.
And straight up there with Warren. What a character, right? What an arc that this
You know,
this
it's
guy would
funny,
go.
on my first playthrough of the game, he kind of just skated by on the just kind of there
Mm-hmm.
rules. And then on my second playthrough, I was like, or even just upon reflection a little bit, I'm like, oh, you know, something's off.
Yeah, and I mean, there's little hints and nods to it. I think some creepy moments, like the fun little tidbit at the start of episode 2. It's at night and she's there, and if you look outside the window, you can see Warren is out in the outside the dorms, looking over at the girls' dorms. Very weird stuff. There's some creepy little things that on a third or fourth playthrough you might pick up, and I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. Um, I've always felt bad for Max. We can get to this later in Double Exposure, but as a character who was, created to be bi and to represent kind of everybody, she's had a really terrible time when it's come to the
Dude.
male side of the romance options. Like, it's pretty awful, really. Which is funny because I think that, Alex was all right. Alex got an all right, roll of the
Yeah,
dice there.
Alex got a better selection in half as many tries.
Yeah. Listen, I don't hate Warren as much as the internet hates Warren. I don't like him though particularly.
No.
He's every awkward, teenage boy that you are slightly creeped off by. Like, that's just kind of who he is, and he doesn't really provide anything to the story, really.
No, there
So
was the time he punches out Nathan. That was kind of cool.
true. Are we putting him in B or C then? Because I feel like
Ah,
that's
I can go with B. I'm feeling generous
fair enough.
because he still does his best to try and help you out.
There's still a chance in Reunion that he texts something that makes us move him down to C. It's fine. We can
Yeah, it's
keep it
possible.
malleable. Next up, one of my favorite characters, Skater Bro, who's just like, yo, Max, bro. He's also in
Justin,
Before the Storm. Yeah, Justin, he's also in Before the Storm. Again, goofy side character that I actually just kind of enjoy. Like, there's no point to him being here, but he's just kind of funny
he's one of
to talk
those
to.
people that reminded me of a few people that I went to school with, where one of my friends was friends with a few people that were like Justin here, and said people would be annoyed or amused by the way I speak a lot of times, or it'd be like, "Oh, that's a funny word. Say it again," kind of thing. And I'd be like, "Yeah, all right, sure."
I don't know. As side characters go, I just find him rather enjoyable. He doesn't overstay his welcome. The few conversations you do have with him kept him in my mind, a lot. Where I'm just like, yeah,
There's never this guy again.
no. Which there are plenty of those later, but yeah, for the most part, I like him quite a bit. I'd be willing to put him even in like a C or a B. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I can go with B. He's cool.
Yeah. Hell yeah, congratulations, dude. Hell yeah, bro. Principal Wells.
Hmm.
I'm of two
The
minds with Principal Wells. I think, he's just like he doesn't do a good job of being an antagonistic figure in the story because he's just kind of there. Like he just does and he's not even that good at being like a shitty head teacher, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like he's not like overtly aggro a lot of the time, but also he's just kind of useless.
mm, yeah.
It's real stupid, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, I
It's like I
completely agree.
remember in episode 5 or whenever when you like changed the timeline and he's like on you with your trip. What are you doing here? Why you?
Yeah.
I forgot he was the headmaster or whatever at
Yeah,
that point.
yeah. Um I don't like I say, I just is there a C? Is this why we set it as like just a C, like existing?
Yeah, I think so. Unless we wanted to be like, oh, you just really suck.
I don't know if he really sucked though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Does he really suck? I don't think he does.
No, he's just kind of there.
He's just kind of there. I might put him above fucking maths annoying girl just because at least he has a bit of story significance. Um, William.
William is pretty cool. You know, it manages to leave a decent impression with pretty limited amount of screen time.
I'd argue he's one of the best characters in the original, like Life is Strange and Before the Storm. I'd argue he's one of the best characters in there, to be honest. I think that,
Yeah.
not only does he leave a lasting impact on on the story just because of, everything that happens, but he does everything that he needs to do, right? You in the original game you have very little time with him, but he is automatically, you automatically attach yourself to him where you say, okay, yeah, I can understand why Chloe really cared about her father because he, is instantly warm, he's instantly kind. You just they do what they need to, and then you get to Before the Storm and you get those really cool nightmare scenes with the, the moments of Chloe talking to her father and having those kind of rational moments of loss. It's like there's some really interesting stuff there that I really appreciate. I think is really well done. The voice actor also does a great job with William. I think that
Yeah, he does.
again, he hits every note that he needs to. I think he's fab. I'd easily put him in A. He's an A character to
Yeah,
me.
I'm inclined to agree.
Hell yeah. Samuel.
Oh, Samuel's a cool little guy, isn't he?
Yeah, again, he's almost like Skater Dude, where I put him in B, where it's like I feel bad, dude. I feel like they were gaslighting us into thinking that he's going to be some creepy, horrible person, when in the end he's just,
Yeah, it's like it was funny how much the game wanted me to think that the other shoe was gonna drop with him, and I just was like, I'm not having it. He's my lad.
it's almost kind of bad as well, the way that they go about it. It's like, look at this guy who is, obviously obviously has had issues in the past and is obviously,
How dare
dealing with
he be
things.
kind of weird?
Let's make him out to be a freak and then have him on the list of people that could possibly have kidnapped Rachel Amber just because of that. I'm like, you absolute swines. Yeah, I'd put him at the top of B, dude. No
Yeah.
disrespect for my boy Samuel. Please, justice for Samuel. There's also just, again, the lore, him talking about the animals and stuff like that. It's just the Twin Peaksy kind of vibes, the weird, the paranormal elements, that it just, it all adds into that kind of
Yeah.
vibe and the ethos of Life is Strange, which I really appreciate. Speaking of great characters, Kate.
Oh, let me tell you, the last time I played this game, I was ready to set that school on fire all over again.
Yeah, I mean, this is what's really special about the original Life is Strange, is you just have these characters, right? Where it's like, is the writing particularly brilliant? No, but do you instantly, similar to William, do you instantly just attach and, really sympathize with her, and, you just want to protect her, right? You just like you don't want anything bad to happen to her. And if you do a good job, nothing will, hopefully,
Yeah.
It's also one of the very rare instances where actions actually do have consequences in Life is Strange, Um, there are, especially to side characters, obviously stuff happens with main characters and all that jazz, but, side characters are very rarely impacted in Life is Strange, really, for the most part. They'll be like, oh no, this person broke up. There's very little
Oops.
life and death in the choices there. So I think she's brilliant. I'd put her in A easily.
Yeah.
Um,
Pretty easy place for her.
Pretty easy place for her, I agree. Nathan Prescott. Oh,
Oh, Nathan is a complicated little guy, isn't he?
yeah, this is also one where I don't know how much. I don't know whether there's a couple of characters where I don't know if Before the Storm helps or hinders the argument. Because yeah, he's extremely misunderstood. He's still not a nice person. Like, let's make
Yeah, definitely not.
I think the ending of Life is Strange, and particular Before the Storm, tries to do a lot to try and, give a justification to why he's like that. I'd be like, oh, guys, he's just had a really troubled life. And I'm like, he has, but it hasn't stopped him from being a horrible person. He killed people. Technically, he is the one that killed Rachel Amber. Like, are we going to forget that? Like, he's the one that overdosed her. Like, my God. Like,
one of my key memories of playing the first game the first time was it was like at my older brother's apartment, and the one of them was, playing games in the other part of the living room, and he looked over while I was reading the one email, letter, text, whatever it was, from his dad from Nathan's dad,
Yeah.
where he's just saying all that vile stuff to him. And he just looked over and he's like, Jesus. That's messed up.
Bit harsh, mate.
Like,
bit harsh.
I looked over, I'm like, oh, you were reading that? That's funny.
Bit harsh, mate. Bit harsh.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing, is I hate Nathan Prescott, but that's doing his job. As a character, that's doing the job, right? And I love...
And I think they give you enough to work with where it's like, okay, you can't where it'd be like, okay, so you weren't like born to be the outright spawn of Satan. You were made into this.
It's black and white. Yeah, it's not black and white, right? It's, there are hints of grey there. And I also just think that one of the things that I love, and I also love this about Victoria Chase as well when we get to her in just a second, is I love how anticlimactic a lot of it feels. And I know that some people, we'll get to Jefferson later, and I know, so, love or hate the Jefferson arc and how that kind of flounders near the end. I love that, again, you're expecting these big kind of confrontational moments where you finally get that moment against Prescott, and you don't. Jefferson just kills him.
Yeah.
I just, there's something about that, the final call, him calling Max, telling him, telling her that, Jefferson's coming for her now, just stuff like that, where you're just like, there are just those kind of moments where you're like, God, I still hate you, but, there's still a bit of humanity left in you, whereas Jefferson is fully off the deep end. There is still that little bit of humanity left. Again, I think he's a great character. I really do. Hate him, but I think he's a great character. I'd probably put him in A as well. I think a good character.
Yeah, I think he goes in A.
Victoria Chase. Again, there's some moments of redemption a little bit. There's some, she's just, bully who has been bullied in the past. It's, all a bit kind of...
I feel like the additional layers they add with her don't work quite as well as it does with Nathan, since
I agree.
At least with Nathan, there's like drastic extremes to be like, okay, I get it, where it's like, oh, you could have just not been as horrible.
Yeah, I agree. I'm also happy, well, not happy to say, right, but I'm also, it's pretty easy to say that these we've all been to high school. there is always this kind of person. They just exist anyway. You know, like there's
Yeah.
always someone who's just a bit of an arsehole for arsehole's sake. Like, you know, you can't help it.
What's that thing you can do to her in Before the Storm during the play? Like you put muscle relaxers or something in her drink.
I don't remember.
I don't
Yeah,
remember,
something
but
like
you
that.
sabotage her somehow, and it was really funny.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I don't hate Victoria Chase. I think she's fine. I think, you know, she serves, you know,
I'm led to
what she
believe
needs
that
to.
she goes on to become a, decently respectable member of society in
Well, if you
the,
play, the absolutely interesting part is if you play double exposure and you obviously save Chloe instead of saving Arcadia Bay like a normal person, like, comment, and subscribe, they become best friends. Chloe and Rachel, they're hanging out all the time. Like they go to, Chase will have a show and Chloe will go and hang out. Sorry, Chloe and Victoria, not Rachel. I don't know why I mentioned Rachel. But yeah, Chloe and Victoria are actually pretty close, which I'm like, that's an interesting kind of
that is
which you can see kind of in Before the Storm, because before the whole Rachel Amber disappearance, before the actual events of Life is Strange 1, in Before the Storm, they actually are a bit more kind of, you can have that kind of stop being an asshole kind of, relationship where you can try and be nice to her. There's elements to her that I, think are all right. Again, I'd put her in B. That's where I'd put her, is in B.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Do we like her more than Warren? I'd say.
I think there's more to her.
Yeah, I'd say Samuel's just getting the nice treatment here.
Yeah.
Is this one of Rachel's lackeys?
I think that's one of her flunkies. Yeah,
I know, because she's also we can do the lackeys all in one. These are the three lackeys, right? These are the three.
Well, the other one has like the whole side plot with Dana or whatever.
This one?
But yeah, and I'm struggling to remember her name. But the other two are basically just.
I'd be more than happy to put her in C because she does have a bit more of that side arc, and these two in D because I just do not care for either of them, really. I'm more than happy to do that. Sorry if your favorite was there. We've got a lot of characters to get through, and I'd like to start buckling down on a couple of them. This is the teacher, the chemistry teacher. Again, I think she's fine.
Yeah, she's fine.
Stick her in C, I think. She's like a C tier character. That's fine with me. And sorry, not sorry. It's everyone's favorite character hunter.
David.
Mr. David. Mr. David. Right, here's the thing about David, right? Is, again, let's talk about Before the Storm a little bit. Why do they... one of the things I dislike the most about Before the Storm... I like Before the Storm for the most part. One thing I really dislike is how Before the Storm goes for the play of, we know that he's not a bad guy in the end, so let's try and downplay how much of an arsehole he was in the beginning. And I'm like... You know what I mean? Like David in Before the Storm, I don't see how the Chloe David dynamic would actually form, if that makes sense, because it's like he's just like a bit of a strict stepfather, but that's about it. He's always like, I respect you and stuff like that, and I'm like,
yeah, it's weird, right? Like, unless we're supposed to believe that he just really tried to tighten the leash.
He went on the deep end.
Months in between the end and the first game.
I mean, he's always been a complicated character. Again, similar to Prescott, right? Where it's like, you're supposed to have a roller coaster of emotions towards him. He's not supposed to be a simple, I 100% hate him, or, he's 100% in the wrong. There are moments where you're like, what the fuck? He's got security cameras up on his own house, watching his own family. Weird as hell. And, he's got these moments, and then he's got his redeeming moments, like when he beats the shit out of Jefferson in episode 5. You're like, hell yeah, that's my guy.
That's another funny bit of goofy physics or whatever, because like if you don't assist him at all, Jefferson will like hit him with a camera or something.
Yeah, with a camera tripod around the back of the head.
That's another one that's just really funny to watch, especially because I didn't really get it or get what I was supposed to be looking for to help him at first too, so I had to watch that happen a couple of times,
again and again and again. Yeah, Yeah, so it's like, to me anyway, it's like you know, for the most part, I for the most part, I think he's, a pretty solid character. I think
Yeah,
that, again, what the first Life is Strange does really well is it those mix, again, it's those Marmite characters where it's like, you've got reasons to like, you've got reasons to hate him. I think, for the most part, the story uses him rather well in
I would
both
say so. Yeah.
entries. Where would you put him?
Um, I'm feeling B.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with like we just keeping Samuel there for the bit.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm fine with leaving him there then. Um, Joyce,
Uh,
is this a hot take? I'm like indifferent. She's
yeah. She
fine,
doesn't. That she's
but
fine. There's not as much to her as there is with
hmm
the story doesn't care about her as much as David.
yeah, yeah.
uh,
Like she's just like a C tier character to me. She's just like probably at the
yeah. She's
top of
just
C
like
tier, like
she's
like
like
there.
the people that she's like the representative for the people that exist outside of the school is
Yeah,
her
she's like the
role in the
representative of
series.
when you're making the Bay versus Bay choice. The kind of person that you're just willing to kind of chuck under the bus, and by bus I mean
Yeah.
tornado. Yeah, she's fine. Frank.
No, he's another. He's like a funhouse mirror of David in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it depends on how you want to it depends on how you want to go about this as well. It's like you've got again talking about him in Before the Storm. So like, there are moments where it's like hell yeah, I kind of respect Frank in a lot of ways. There are moments where I'm like hell yeah. There are also times where I'm like you're a nonce.
Yeah, yeah, it's
um,
a weird one.
I'd stick him in B again. That's like the kind of a B character where I'm like I like a lot of what you have going for you in terms of like narratively. You've got a lot of
Yeah,
strong moments.
a lot of his voice lines just live in my head forever.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm willing to put above David, do we think? Or below
Um,
David? Boodoo,
no, it'd be
boodoo.
it'd be either or, right? Like, I think he goes below.
No, Victoria, no, no, no. You sly,
No, no,
sly
no.
bugger. Fair enough. No, I agree with that. And then wrapping it off in Life is Strange 1, it's the mastermind, uh, Jefferson.
Yeah, Jefferson.
Oh. You see, there's moments of greatness with Jefferson where it's like,
I feel like once the shock reveal happens, it kind of loses the juice, though.
it does, but it's one of those ones where it's like when you do a first playthrough of Life is Strange, you lose, it loses the juice relatively quickly. I think where you can get a bit more squeeze is when you replay it and you rewatch, you're playing the whole game with that lens and you're watching every interaction with him and stuff like that. Then you do get a bit more there. But again,
Yeah.
episode 5 does just kind of
Yeah, that's
absolutely
the
muck it up.
problem. That's more so what I meant is that once you have to like live in the post-twist world with him there, it is substantially less interesting. Like it would have been best for Jefferson's character if episode 4 was the ending.
In a way, like again, I think a lot of it though is choice and not necessarily. I don't think there's anything narratively wrong with him, with you know him being the big bad and everything about it. It's the fact that he decides to monologue everything to Max while it's happening and goes all into very, you know, just arse like again, he just goes very kind of evil mustache twirling villain mode, and it's just like they could have gone extremely creepier. Like he doesn't come across as creepy. He comes across as just like an absolute like mustache twirling
It becomes
arsehole.
yeah, like a caricature
Yeah,
almost once he
Um, I still think there's enough there in the reveal and, little bits of it where I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and go, he's a D tier character. Like, because I
Definitely
still
not.
think there is still stuff there, but it's where are we thinking in the B to C range, Hunter? Where would you go? Where would you go?
Oh, I think on the back of just the, you know, twist alone, he'd be in B somewhere, but I don't think he'd be at the top.
I think he's like just below Frank. That's where I'd put him. Is like there-ish.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Right, there you go. You can go home, everybody. That's the main game done. The one that everybody cares about. Screenshot it, send it to your family, friends, unsubscribe, all that jazz. Or subscribe if you agree with where we're kind of landing there. Next up, it's Life is Strange 1.5, 0.5 HD chapter prologue, Before the Storm. There's a lot of characters in Before the Storm. A lot of them are obviously recurring characters that we have already talked about for the most part. The rest of these that we're talking about are all unique characters that we either don't remember much about or have no reason to. They're not as strong, right? A lot of these are not as strong as the original game's characters. But let's start with the reason why this game exists. Let's start with Rachel Amber, right? Hunter, you more recently played Before the Storm, didn't you? If I remember correctly. It's not too long ago. You didn't play when it came out.
No, it was like a year ago I played it.
What are your thoughts and feelings on Rachel Amber?
It's super interesting how she turned out to be.
She's one of my favorite characters in the entire franchise, and it's not necessarily because it's the everything around her, I think. It's not just the performance and the character in Before the Storm. I think
it feels like you got bait and switched in some way with the way that the first game is, and I find it really fascinating that way.
In a way, but my argument is my argument is, I think what I love about Rachel Amber is, and she very much makes this clear, is that she's hiding her true self 90% of the time. And I think that it's just like, I love, at least from my perspective, I really love and appreciate that you never truly feel like you've got to her, even in episode 3 when she's, the stuff, the reveals with her parents and stuff like that has all come through, and you're in her room and she's moping around and you're doing the whole thing with the stargazer on the roof and all that stuff. Lovely moment. Even then, even after all of that, there's still a wall there that even Chloe just cannot get. I just find she's such a fascinating character. I've said this to you before.
Yeah.
What I would have killed for Before the Storm to have, had an extra 2 episodes where you start to see the decline. Like what I would have given for that.
When the clearly toxic relationship hits its low point.
100%. But no, I love it. I love the spiral into disaster. I find her extremely fascinating.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where even at like the beginning of the story, she comes across as weirdly manipulative in ways that
I don't even think
where I don't even think she really super means to be. It just kind of happens that way.
Oh,
it's so fascinating.
There's so much I love about her as a character. I love that, you can have these discussions with people. Was her love for Chloe genuine? Was there anything there? What was that dynamic? Because I think there is some genuine, there was something there genuinely, but also how much of it, how much of it was real? How much was it? How much of it was manipulative? How much of it was, I love it. And then when you add onto it the mystery of, the whole, she is the whole kind of mystery of Life is Strange 1. She is this just person that you never quite get to understand, And then to actually meet her and still not fully understand her, I think it's great. And it's a brilliant performance. And, Before the Storm has some of my favorite moments in the entire franchise. That whole episode 2 after the play, that whole scene on the street that might
Yeah.
quite possibly be my favorite scene in the entirety of Life is Strange. I adore that scene. I think it's brilliant. This whole kind of, again, it's like, it's almost like the last genuine moment you have with her, because everything after that point with her dad in like episode 3 is just, that's when the spiral begins. I think she's brilliant. I really do. I think she's one of the best characters that Life is Strange has ever had. And my God, I love that we didn't get more, but also, again, you could kill. Where are the comics? Where's the extend? I want to see. Stop caring about Max and Chloe so much. Let us see the actual drama, you know? I'd start reading the comics if we started getting that downfall a little bit.
Yeah.
Ugh, I think she's great. I'd put her in. Why are you thinking? Where would you think, Hunter?
I think with everything we just said, she has to go in S tier.
I agree. I think she's, I think they're both up there. I just, I love and I hate Before the Storm, because there are genuinely, there's some of the best Arcadia Bay moments in those games. That game, it's fantastic. And then there are other things where you sit there and you go, that doesn't even make sense in the timeline. What are we doing, Deck 9? What are we doing? Anyway, I think this next person here doesn't matter too much, because I think she's just she's one of the theater kids. She's
that's Dana. She's she's planning the Halloween party. She's the one of the she's one of the secondary classmates that isn't evil.
Yeah, I mean, she's fine. I'd put her in the C tier of fine. Let's get to evil and the other evil, I guess, or good. I don't know. We'll see how. Rachel's dad.
Yeah, he
again, it's one of those characters where I sit there and I go, similar to your Davids and your Nathans, where you sit there and you go, fucking hate you, but you're doing your job narratively. You know what I mean? Narratively, you're doing your job. The overprotectiveness of Rachel, the whole how he's willing to sacrifice everything just to keep his reputation. The fact that he's, extremely classist, he's very, he's got a massive ego, he's very egocentric. Just everything that he plays, and again, you just fucking hate him. And again, it adds a layer where you start to, again, you're like,
dude, if you had encountered him as the guys from 2, he would have definitely said something racist to them.
100% agree. I mean, he basically just spits on Chloe and goes, poor. Like, that's
yeah.
But I think it's great. It's another. Again, what I think Before the Storm does extremely well is it adds just another little fragment of a puzzle piece to Rachel Amber, where you start to, it's just all these things in a line where you understand. It's like, okay, I can start to understand why this person is so effed up. Like,
Yeah.
It's a breaking point, and I think it's really good. I'd stick him in A. I think he's, I think he does a much better job in terms of being a antagonistic figure in the game than Jefferson does. I think his motives are more believable. I think he doesn't go into cartoony villain mode. Well, he does a little bit because he tries to assassinate fucking Rachel's mom, but he doesn't have a weird monologue about it. So I guess it clears. It passes the TSA check, I guess. I'd stick him there. That's where I'd stick him. Did you tell Rachel? I don't know if we've ever had that discussion. Did you tell Rachel, or did you keep it to yourself?
I think I kept it to myself. I can't.
I told Rachel. Exactly. I told Rachel.
I played it for my friend to watch anyway, so I let them make the choice. Probably.
You're so selfless. Playing a choice-based adventure game and letting other people make the choices. That's what a careless act, or caring act. Not careless. Or maybe you were careless and you didn't want to.
Maybe
you didn't want to make a choice. Rachel's mum.
She's just kind of there. I feel like.
I agree.
Uh, if not for the whole he wants to assassinate her thing, you could remove her from the story and not much would really be that different.
Yeah, I agree. I'm more than happy to put her in like C. I'm more than happy for that. Like low C, to be honest. We're looking at like
Yeah.
most of these characters. I don't know. These feel like NPCs though, so it's like I feel like it has to go like that, like Wells levels
Yeah.
of incompetence. This fucker, dude, the gaslighter, dude. No, she's female Warren. She's female Warren,
Yeah.
and I mean that in a terrible way.
Oh, yeah. I remembered her and I went, oh. In fact, I think I had the same response. I'm like, she's what the internet thinks that Warren is, was my
Yeah,
response to her
she
character.
is. She is like a D tier character for sure. Where I just sit there and I'm like, again, she's almost there to be like, no, trust me, guys. Even though what happened, ignore what happens in the future. He's a nice guy. He's just misunderstood. Get in the bin, bro. Get in the bin. Get yourself a personality that isn't simping for somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, my God, unbearable. Speaking of characters who are also just present, Rachel's mom version 2, the 2.0 update.
Also, just kind of there.
Yeah, I agree. You at least have some interesting moments with her where you can actually like just you've got that moment after the dinner scene where you can like walk around as Chloe and discuss some stuff. There's at least a little bit there, whereas it's like the conversation you have with
Yeah.
Rachel's birth mother doesn't really matter. You just wake up after being like you wake up, she's there. Don't tell her about me, blah 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 blah. Okay, go fuck yourself. Like, I think on the scale, I'd like literally just put a one above, like that. Like that's where I'd be sitting. Is like one above, slightly better, but still the same kind of character. If that makes sense. Um. So yeah, we'll go with that, I guess. Hunter, do you have any thoughts on, is Reggie the younger brother? I don't remember if Reggie's the younger brother or the older brother. I also don't know if Hunter can hear me yet. Hunter, can you hear me? No. He's gone into the abyss, ladies and gentlemen. You hate to see it. Oh, you're back?
This is what happens when you sacrifice Arcadia Bay. I get sent to the tornado.
Oh, good. Right. Any thoughts on Reggie? I think Reggie's the younger brother, right? I can't remember.
He's okay. I don't.
Yeah, I agree. I think like see Andy over here.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know where to live. I'd put him higher. He's all right. He's got his story with his brother. I think both of them are both like they're near each other. I think they both have an interesting kind of arc.
Yeah.
Together, where I'd stick them like there-ish. They're there. They add some supplemental story, which I don't think is bad. Drug guy.
Drug guy. I think that sums it up pretty well. He's just drug guy.
Yeah, like
He's the one.
D or C, like he is like.
I don't know. Like this is one that it feels like D. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if he ever needed to show up even.
And speaking of D, get this guy in the fucking bin. He's even worse than her.
Yeah.
Oh, he's even worse. He is what people think Warren is, like properly.
Yeah.
He is that scene in when you break into the study when you break into the study and he's there and he's trying to. Oh, it's the worst. Like that's honestly
It's
the
the worst. Honestly,
hated it.
Ugh.
Absolutely hated it. Dom security guard.
He was okay. I don't know. He seemed like he was supposed to be buddies with Skater Guy, but he didn't come off as well.
Yeah, I'd just stick him like there. He's like in the middle. And next up we have Tattoo Bouncer.
Yeah. He was okay. hitting a lot of the these guys were in maybe
Perfect.
2 scenes.
Yeah, get that.
And
Yeah, I like you more. We'll just there you go. We'll do that. Lovely. Random author guy who's a bit of a snob.
um yeah, at the lower end of C, I think we can go with him
Yeah,
because
cool. And I don't even remember who you are. First, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. We did
yeah,
it. Do you remember him?
he's the sketchbook kid.
Oh, cool. Okay, right. Well, you remember him. Where do you want to put him?
He can go above the security guy.
There.
Yeah.
Cool. You're lucky. You got your fate saved. Right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Life is Strange 2. Now, this is the game that
Yeah.
I have played the least recently, so I'm going to have a lot of IDKs, so Hunter's going to have to
Really fill
carry
out the
forth. Yeah, a lot of
does.
stuff.
I had to play this week to
For this podcast.
cram for
Wow.
the homework. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do this first. I'm just going to annoy you just because I'm just going to do a true Life is Strange fan thing here and go, hey guys, who remembers the awesome adventures of Captain Spirit, the free kind of prequel episode to Life is Strange
I
2?
did not play that.
And that's why you're fired. Looks like we're going to have to pause the episode now and Hunter's going to have to do his homework. You didn't miss too much, but it did give
Yeah,
a lot
I
more...
believe you.
But it did give a lot more story to Chris, I think was his name, the kid, and I don't remember his...
Chris, and then Charles is the father.
I think it was an interesting kind of look into a son and a father who, a son who doesn't necessarily feel like his dad's fully there for him. It was an interesting kind of little story of, just someone that's I think if you weren't that kind of kid, of a kid who kind of retreated to their imagination a lot, lived in the stories that they told, drew in books, pretended to be a superhero, kind of tried to escape from the reality that they lived in. And I think that, Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit does a pretty good job of that, to be honest. I think they're both fine characters, to be honest. I think that, as we get through the mountain of characters in Life is Strange 2,
Deluge. Yeah.
they are two of the two of the very few that I genuinely remember and have a positive kind of experience with. I think that it's an interesting dynamic and it's an interesting story, and I also really appreciate that they did do a prequel episode of two characters that don't really matter in the main story. They didn't need to do it. It was just like a nice little thing to do. So that's the reason I mainly wanted to bring these characters up first, because if you just go off what they do in Life is Strange 2, it's basically next to nothing. They are basically non-existent in Life is Strange 2. So I thought I'd get these out of the way because I remember them, Hunter, and then you can do the main busy work of Life is Strange 2. So because if you were going off of just Life is Strange 2, they both sit around C. They'd both sit in
I
the
was
C
gonna say,
tier.
off of what I know them for, I'd put them in C. But if
As I was going with Captain Spirit, including Captain Spirit, I'd put Chris in B. I think you'd still sit in C, but you'd probably be sitting there. That's where I'd probably put them based on where they base it off Captain Spirit. Anyway, Hunter, the ball is in your court. Recent memories, recent feelings and thoughts.
So the first two, we got the two brothers.
Yeah.
Sean and Daniel. I didn't like them very much.
Yeah. Right. Here's the thing with Life is Strange 2 is I feel like we owe it to Life is Strange 2 fans to be open with how we feel about Life is Strange 2 as a video game, because there are people who absolutely love Life is Strange 2. There are people who absolutely dislike Life is Strange 2. And I'm not talking about the politics or any of the themes that the game is trying to, go through, or to, the tough topics it tries to discuss. I'm mainly talking about the narrative and where it ends up. I don't particularly like Sean and Daniel's arc at all, really. It's funny how the game's actually aged rather well in comparison to modern
It
times,
is. It
but
is. It is a bummer in that regard. Yeah,
it
but
really is.
I played a lot of that and went, oof. I wish that was dated, but it's not.
No, it's actually probably aged better than when it came out. I think that it does a lot of those topics pretty well. It's just the overall arc of where it ends up. It just feels extremely convoluted and messy, and it doesn't feel like it has a real reason to
there's a lot of
push
the
through.
a lot of the conflict from episode to episode feels really inorganic.
Mm-hmm.
Is the issue. Like, they're making unforced errors that lead to something that pushes them away from where they are a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just sitting there like, what are we doing?
Yeah, 100%. I remember first playing it when it came out in 2018. The first couple of episodes, I think, was 2018. And sitting there and going, wow, it's like, I'm interested to see how this wraps up. I feel like, it's doing a lot, and it's just, building up and building up. I don't think we're ever getting some sort of resolution here, and it never feels like it truly does.
Like, even right from the start, I feel like they jumped the gun on beginning the story. Like, I
Mhm.
feel like the first episode should have been you going to that party and understanding what you were gonna have to leave behind
Mhm.
once the story started, but they
Yeah,
just
yeah.
jumped right to it, and I'm sitting there like, well, alright.
I think that I feel like True Colors does a better job at this, where it gives you the first step. You know what's going to happen if you watch the trailers, unfortunately, and if you didn't, it's very easily predictable what's going to happen. But it at least gives you practically a whole episode to get attached to the characters before the main kind of plot point happens. Whereas Life is Strange 2, if I remember correctly, Life is Strange 2's major plot point happens within like 30 to 40 minutes of
Yeah,
the
it's
game
like
starting.
it's like 30 minutes and 40 if you're like taking your time reading and everything.
So it just feels extremely rushed. Um, Sean and Daniel, they're my two least favorite protagonists in Life is Strange, and that's
It's
not.
like being stuck with Atreus and not having Kratos around to make the presence more bearable.
Yeah, I can agree with that, and I like the
Like,
idea.
I sympathize with a lot of what they're going through, but also you guys are the worst sometimes.
There was a part of me that was like, is this like, I'm an only child, so is this an only child thing where I just don't really understand it? But then I had a friend who's got a younger brother, and he was like, "No, that's just annoying as hell." And I'm like, "Okay, fair enough. Glad to see that I'm not alone in that kind of thought process." I think the issue to me is that, and it's hard because they're two, kids at the end of the day. Even Sean is, he's not fully grown up. He's still a kid in a lot of ways, and in his mentality, he is the classic, you know, kid who's in high school who thinks that, oh, I'm all grown up, mate.
Yeah.
And you're not. You then realize when you're 25 or 26, oh my god, I was like a baby at 16, 17, like, you got to leave high school before you actually feel like you've got some semblance of self. So I can understand them being annoying in the way of being like teenagers or being a kid in Daniel's case, but also being stuck with them for as long as you are, it doesn't help. It's like, I could honestly, I feel this game would have been better with more of a time skip at some point. I feel like,
Yeah, at some points, or because it feels like for a lot of it it feels like there isn't a lot of growth for as much as they just want to kind of drop you into these vignettes,
yeah,
and like, for if things change, it doesn't feel like you got to experience the change very much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that kind of happened away from your ability to witness it.
You know, and it just, to me, it's like, you know, episode 1 is the incident and running away. And then it's episode 2 is the going to the only family that you have and then running away. And then episode 3 is finding a group that welcomes you in, bit of a drug, you know, bust episode, and you run away. And then episode 4 is you find a cult and then you run away.
Yeah.
And then episode 5 is the culmination of you running away. And it's like, I feel like nothing ever feels satisfying. And I feel like there's a little bit of an intent there that the ending isn't, you know, even the ending of episode 5 isn't necessarily supposed to feel like a good ending. There is like 6 different endings that you can get, and I don't think any of them really truly feel satisfying, and I think that's intentional. But
Yeah.
it just feels like there's a lot of pieces, we're juggling a lot of things, and it just doesn't necessarily feel like anything ever feels worth it. And it feels harsh to say, but it just kind of, I don't know, it's one of, in my opinion, I think it might be is it Dontnod's weakest? I think it might be Dontnod's weakest in terms of like Tell Me Why as well, and it's,
Yeah.
I think it might be their weakest. I think even Lost Records, it has more things that I liked than Life is Strange 2. Anyway, where are we putting these characters, eh? We've had a little natter.
I think we have to keep them both like right next to each other, since that was the whole theme of the story.
Yeah,
but
like brothers,
somewhere in C, I think, probably.
I mean,
like they're on the upper part.
I'd say that I say they're high C just because the game gives you that much story and narrative with them that it's like they have to be high C, right?
Yeah.
But it's not looking good. Shall we talk about their dad while we're at it?
I actually really liked their dad for all the longer he was in the game. Like, I was like, oh, I like you. It's too bad that what's going to happen to you is going to happen to you at the end of the episode. 20 minutes later.
I'd put him in B. Yeah, I think you know, he's quite likable. I'd put him like there. Like, you know, I'd put him there for as little impact as he has. Layla, their friend.
I wish we got more of her because I liked the dynamic she had with him.
Again, it's like one of those wish there was more to it. Like, again, it's like a B-type character that I would have liked to have seen more. Why are we not having more of this character in it? Yeah. It's weird. She's like skater person where it's like every scene. I mean, I'd feel harsh. Also, I feel like that's harsh. I also feel like that's harsh. That's fine. But, you know, it's almost like Skater Bro. I think, yeah, that Skater Bro is a bit more of a meme. But it's like, I wish there was more to her. Like, you know, you get like episode 1 and 2 and then you just never really hear again. It's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Right, now, Hunter, Godspeed, my friend.
That guy's name is Anders. He's from the hippie commune. He was the Swedish tourist with the lady. He's just there.
Where are we thinking then? Like these lot, the dregs of C?
Yeah,
cool. IT guy, I remember him.
Yeah, Brody, he was alright. Friendly Seth Rogen type.
Yeah.
I think that that's the annoying thing about this game in some ways, is like the characters that are only around for like 5 minutes do their thing and leave, and then you get the letter. You can read the letter from him like the next episode, I think, but that's about it.
Yeah. I like him enough. He's like, to me, he's like levels of like Skater Dude, whereas like the moment that he was in it, I was actually like, hey, this guy's kind of all right.
He's all right.
He's all right. Mushroom. Godspeed, Mushroom.
Dude. Okay, so I love dogs, so naturally there'd be, but like, what the dog stands for in this case is you just give us a dog for 15 minutes to kill it.
But does that put it on where does that put this on the character spectrum?
I don't know. That's the problem, right? Like,
but Mushroom's a cute dog, cute puppy.
Yeah, like as a dog I would put S tier, absolutely, but you know, it's one of those things where the writing for Mushroom was very inorganic because you didn't even make that decision. You couldn't have done anything to prevent it, and it doesn't even happen 4 episodes later. It happens before you start the meat of the next episode. It's so annoying.
Where's he going on to? Where you putting mushroom?
I don't know.
Great, lovely. Well done, mushroom. Godspeed. Who the hell is this Brexit geezer, mate?
The Big Joe was the armed guard for the drug farm. D. I hate him. He speaks. All he was ever saying was, "Shut up and work." Blah blah blah. Punches him in the face for.
Next up is we don't remember this person.
I don't
She's
remember
an amputee. Cool.
them. No.
Welcome to IDK. This is the girl that Sean likes. I remember that.
Yeah, Cassidy. She's cool. I like her.
Mm-hmm.
You actually get an episode with her after initially meeting her in episode 2. I put her in B.
Where in B? Where in this magical area of B?
Next to Lila, I think. Like
Above?
kind of. Yeah, I'd say so.
Where?
She gets time to actually be fleshed out beyond just the general vibe.
Okay, this is Sean's grandmother and Daniel's grandmother. Was she the one that was cool or the one that wasn't cool? One of them was cool and one of them wasn't.
She was the one that wasn't. Steven was the
cool.
cool one.
Yeah, so is she going in the bad vibes tier, or where are we sticking her?
I don't think she goes like directly in bad vibes.
So like,
goes, like
C,
next to Wells. Yeah.
she means well.
Yeah, there you go.
Like somewhere here, I guess.
Yeah.
Can you see Grandad? I can't see Grandad. Where's Grandad?
He is. Where is he?
Is that him now?
Yeah, no, that's
that's Grandad. He was.
Yeah.
There we go. Bring him up. Where are we sticking Grandad? He was better. I liked Grandad.
I think we can put him in B. He was a solid guy, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who this girl is.
I think that's just one of the random NPCs from the gas station. Go in the I
Perfect.
don't know.
I don't know who this guy is either. He looks like he's in the same scene as the amputee lady.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah.
Welcome to I don't know. You both look like you're in The Last of Us. I don't know why the lighting is so different between them and everybody else, but they do give off Last of Us lighting. Who are you? I don't remember you either. This lady. Who is this lady?
That's not. Yeah, I can't tell who that is either.
Congratulations. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Hunter has just played this video game. We're not just being harsh here. Hunter has literally just played this video game in the last week.
There are a lot of characters that don't do or say anything.
This guy's face reminds me of like something negative.
I think that's the guy who runs the little gift shop stand in episode 2.
Oh yeah. I felt like he was like a C tier character. He was like,
yeah, he was just one of those guys that were there.
He just lives it. He can live there.
He's not the one that's saying the outright racist nonsense, but he's just kind of there.
This is this Cassidy's brother?
I don't remember if they were siblings, but they're from the same commune.
Yeah.
He tries to rob the guy, and kind of is the whole reason that things go.
Where are we sticking him?
Probably C. Yeah.
I don't remember you.
That's Agent Flores.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I hate the feds, so we can put her in D.
Lamau. Sit there and think about what you did. Who's this?
I can't tell.
I
think he's one of the. I think that was one of the guys from the place in episode 5, but like
that's fine. Anyway, it's Racist McGee.
Yeah, he goes in D.
You can go sit about it. Like he's like here's the problem is these are like she's just annoying and he is like, he's quite a bit of a creep. But this guy is just like pure hatred incarnate, dude. He rose from the ground to be the most fucking vitriolic person you could be. Like, my God. I don't remember who this guy is.
I think he's just one of the randos from 1, actually.
Oh,
like, he was
shit.
one of the sports jocks.
Oh, we forgot about you. My guy, I'm so sorry. You got mixed up in this. Quickly.
Yeah.
Into the sea pile with you.
Yeah, he just goes there.
You go last in Life is Strange 1 because we didn't notice that you weren't one of those guys.
That one, I believe, is Hannah from
which one? This one?
The Commune. Yeah, I think so.
How are we feeling about The Commune?
Or wait, no, I think that's the homeless lady in the first game. The mark on the neck there.
Oh, wow, you get to go there as well. My God, my apologies. We're missing out.
Yeah.
We're catching strays here. Right.
I'm pretty sure that's the other Swedish person from the Commune.
Oh,
so
well, we've got to go
put her
together,
next to
right?
Anders.
Yeah. We gotta get next to each other, right?
I think that's Jacob. I can't tell. Like, I'm pretty sure he's the guy who escaped from the cult and eventually took Daniel back there at the end of the 3rd episode.
How we feel?
Like, he kind of exists for part of the story to happen.
Right.
She's the sculptor from episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
Another C. She's okay.
Cool. Next. She's from
that's their mom.
Yeah, that's their mom,
No.
right?
Yeah.
From the Commune. Not from the Commune, the cult.
Well, she shows up during the cult. She
Yeah.
wasn't part of it.
I know.
But yeah. So she's a complicated one, right? Because she shows up to help them out and whatnot, but also her explanation for bouncing is just atrocious.
Yeah.
That's one of those ones where I like, that's a horrid excuse. You should have decided you weren't fit to be a parent before having children.
Yeah. Totally. But again, it's like she's one of the more complicated characters in Life is Strange 2. She's also one of the few characters that has a bit of screen time. As you can see from this list, there's a lot of characters in Life is Strange 2 that have little to no screen time.
Yeah.
I think she goes in C, but I think she's like an upper C character, probably.
Yeah, I think you could put her next to the brothers.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know who you are.
That's Joey. He's the nurse that helps you out after you get got, or after you go blind in the one eye. He was cool. If you talk to him right, I guess you can get him to help you escape the hospital.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't know that until after I finished, because he just told me I can't risk my job and my life for that, and I'm like, yeah, I respect it.
Well, I guess he goes in B if he helps you escape at some point. He seems like a homie. I don't know who you are.
I don't remember Arthur and the other guy. I don't remember his name, but that's they're like right next to each other. They're from the little junk pile in episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
They're okay. You can put them both with Sculptor.
Okay. Next.
I'm pretty sure that one is Hannah, and she was fine.
Cool. Next.
Wait, no, I think that's the cult leader.
I don't know. She's giving Life is Strange, not Life is Strange, she's giving Last of Us vibes again.
I think she's the cult leader.
Well,
like, D, I guess.
Sick. We hate cults in this household. Next up.
I can't remember that one at all.
Cool. She can
So
go with her homies in the Bad Lighting Brigade.
that guy's also from one. He was the kind of uppity guy. If you talk to him at all about his
Bro,
tastes in art.
that's crazy. I did not remember you. I'm so sorry about that. My God. Is this a one guy as well?
I think he might be, yeah.
Flipping heck, bro. I don't know you. I'm not gonna. You're not getting a free pass. Get in the bin.
He was the leader of he was the drug racket guy.
Okay.
Again, he's just kind of evil and not very interesting, so send him to D.
Welcome to D. I don't remember you. Let's just rapid fire these, Hunter.
Yeah,
Rapid fire 'em.
IDK.
IDK. Cool. Next.
Miscellaneous cult guy. D or IDK, I don't care.
Cool. Get somewhere in there. Yep, him.
That's Penny from the commune. Put him with the rest of them.
Okay. Next.
I don't remember that one.
Cool. Next.
That's Jacob's sister.
Where's she going, Hunter?
C.
Where's she going? C. Cool. Next.
I can't really see the pictures anymore. The
Cool.
stretched in
IDK. Oh, sorry, I didn't drag it down. There you go. Can you see
that's
that?
what I meant.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's guy from Before the Storm, but he goes with the other druggie. Where's the other drug guy?
He's a D.
Yeah, they're both narcs. Dude, get in the bin. She's also, I swear she's the same as the other. Oh my God, what a disaster. Just sit there and shut up. Right.
I don't remember
He's from
this guy
Before
at
the
all
Storm
either.
as well. He's the theater guy. He was
Oh,
alright.
right.
He can go
I
like
remember now.
there. And he's from Life is Strange 1, Don't Remember You. My God. And he is, right? Getting right.
Okay,
I think that's
we
it. I
covered
think we're
it
done.
all.
I think we're done. My God, this
Yeah.
tier list is massive. Oh my God.
I
and
know,
we've
right?
still got more to go.
So that's Life is Strange 2.
Ugh.
Most of them are meh, and the good ones are underutilized.
We'll put in the timestamps. You can skip that part. Also, if you're on audio podcasts, God help you for that bit, mate. I'm so sorry. God help you. Maybe just skip the Life is Strange 2 section. Ugh. My goodness. Right, we're back on equal footing here. True Colors. Not as many characters.
Oh, yeah.
We can discuss them. Alex Chen.
I think she's really good. I like her story a lot.
I agree. I think she's very good as well. I'd be willing as so far to launch her up here with the best. Protagonists are pretty good. For the most part.
And like I think that one of True Colors' advantages is that the writing had time to mature from
I agree.
being the teenage angst to like something that an actual person might think and feel. So
I know, right?
I think that Alex is pretty solid for that.
Gabe.
Yeah. Gabe, for the episode we get him, is pretty cool. I think that they do a good job at endearing you to him. I think we put him maybe a step above Dad from 2 as far as...
Where is Dad from 2? Yeah, there he is. Let's stick Gabe there. Yeah, that's a fair assessment, I think. Steph from Before the Storm and from True Colors. I think she's pretty good. I think she's like... I think she's like an A. Really. Like, I think she's pretty decent, I like her in Before the Storm. I really like the D&D sections that you get to do as Chloe. I think they're pretty engaging. And then when it comes to True Colors, I think she, her relationship dynamic with Alex is very cool. I like it quite a bit. And then, the records shop and all that is just very her. I just think she's overall rather solid, so I'd say she's an A, probably. I'd stick her like up there with Kate, really. Hunter can't hear me because he's lagged out again because he's a silly goose. But I hope he agrees with me. We can reorganize that a little bit when he's back. You back, Hunter?
I am, yeah.
Steph, I put Steph around there in A. Do you agree with that
I am
assessment?
inclined to agree. Steph is cool. I'm fairly certain that she'd be someone that I would be willing to hang out with were she an actual person.
Nice. Ryan.
I think he does a good job to fill out the rest of the dynamic for the main characters in True Colors, as far as like Gabe's buddies that you inherit after he departs.
Yeah, I'd stick him at like the top of B.
Yeah.
Mainly just because the only downside he has to his character is the whole Jed thing, where he's still willing to believe his dad at the end, even after everybody
Oh
in their
yeah.
Nan says, "Yeah, he definitely did this." Like that's the only like detriment that he has. Jed.
Jed, it's one of those things where his twist doesn't hit as hard because it was like, oh, guy wants to talk to you at the end of episode 4, here it comes.
Yeah.
As opposed to like it being like, oh, I don't think I was expecting the art teacher to be the creep kind of thing.
It's also just
In the
there were other ways. I don't know. I feel like there's more rational ways to
his
get rid
rationale
of.
was flimsy too. Yeah, I
I'm
know
gonna
what you
try
mean.
and kill somebody to keep the secret of the town instead of, oh, I don't know, kicking her out of your free accommodation, and you could there were ways to go about it. Oh no, what? Alex also went missing in the in the woods. That's crazy considering Gabe also died not too long ago. What a weird coincidence. Like, what was his plan there? Like,
Yeah, it was.
genuinely, what was his plan? Like, genuinely. And all because he just wanted to hide that he was a bit of a coward? Like, my god.
Yeah, it's super weird, isn't it? Like, I remember this being like the one bit of contention when we played the game
Mm-hmm.
back when it came out. Was like, his whole rationale is bizarre.
Yeah. I mean, I'd still put him in B. I think he's got some solid
Yeah, I
moments,
think
a character. I think.
I think before before he's revealed to be the villain, I think he does a good job at filling out the role. It's just one of
Mhm.
those things where
Over or under
in
Jefferson?
I think he goes a step under.
I agree. Um, Alex and Gabe's dad.
Um, I he was only in like the one flashback in the end
Uh,
or in episode 5,
you get a
right?
little bit. You get a little bit of their past in. Obviously, yeah. There's flashbacks all in episode 5. You get a little bit of their past where they lived with him, where he wasn't particularly great. Um, and then you also have the scenes of him, the flashbacks of him, because you go through the mines where he died. So you get a couple of bits and pieces of info to him. He just, to me, he sits in the exact same place as like even slightly under, to be honest, a couple of these where it's like he sits here, like around this area of just existing. He serves some form of story semblance, but not enough for me to care really. Like it's just another little bit of mystery that needs, thread there that can be pulled, but there's nothing really to it. That makes sense?
Yeah. It's like they don't give you enough to go on with him there.
Yep. Pike.
He was all right,
Sheriff
he
Sco, yeah, he was
yeah, they really swerve you there for a minute in the first episode where it's like, oh no, are they gonna just keep doing the cartoonishly racist NPCs?
I would
And then he turns out to be cool.
I'd stick him in like the B area, like somewhere in the
Yeah.
B's. Where in the B though?
Um, Next to Skater Bro or
Yeah, that's fine. We'll
Yeah.
live in that. Charlotte. Dude, we can put Charlotte
Charlotte.
and Ethan together, dude. This is like baggage that I don't care for. This is like, it's like fair enough, I'll adopt your friends, but like,
Yeah. It's like I don't got I
I
don't
don't
got
have
the
the.
energy to unpack her issues.
And she blames you for it and all that shit when it was your fucking son that was the reason. So it's like, just. They're both, Charlotte and Ethan are both, like, they're both C's to me. They're both C's. They probably live above the Life is Strange 2 block.
Yeah.
But they're probably like they're like same levels. Like they've got to be above these slightly. They're probably like sitting like around here-ish. That's where I'd put them, is like that
Yeah.
there in the C
I think
pile.
they're what I'd say they're the weak links of the True Colors cast.
Yep. Riley.
Riley's cool.
I like Riley.
Her whole dynamic with her mother is solid as far as trying to, manage all of that.
They also kind of, again, in a similar way that Pike was kind of like a Uno Reverso on the cop is not secretly, cop is blatantly a racist. They play instead of, you look at Riley and you assume she's going to just be the pretty girl who's a bit of a prick. And then she's not. She's actually just a really nice person and pretty well-rounded for the most part. So it's like, she has a problem. She's struggling with her mom who clearly has like Alzheimer's and then an abusive boyfriend, right? But in terms of her, she's pretty well rounded. I quite like her. I'd stick her like in B. I'd stick her in B with like. Do we want to go above Pike, like there-ish?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think they get a little more out of the story with her.
The mum.
Probably around the same area, I'd say, since it's another part of her story, and also
I'd go like
I
that.
like them.
Yeah, I think like
Yeah,
that. That's a nice little block. Mac.
Mac. He's a bit of a tool, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably a tier below. Because I do remember him.
I'd
Despite
stick
being
him
a bit of a
like.
tool, he's not like.
I'd stick him
outright
above Charlotte just because he has a bit more of an actual story
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Like if I recall right, he tried to halt.
Yeah, he tried to stop
the chain of events.
Yeah. The cat from Steph's music shop.
Where did we put Mushroom? We have to put the cat next to her.
There we go. Well done. This prick. I can't remember what her name is, but she was an absolute unit. Corpo Shill, dude. She goes right next to the blooming cultist, dude. Like that's don't have time for Corpo Shills, dude. Ducky is the goat. Right next to fucking Samuel, dude. Right there. They're the lads, dude. What a ledge. You love to see it. No, I love Ducky. He's great. That scene with Alex and him in the bar is one of my favorite scenes in True Colors. It's a good scene.
Yeah.
And then finally, ladies and gentlemen, it's everybody's favorite game in the entire franchise, Life is Strange Double Exposure. Starting with adult Max Caulfield. I don't know if this is. I don't know what's controversial and what isn't controversial when it comes to double exposure, because I think double exposure is just a ball of controversy when it comes to Life is Strange fans. I think that, some people like it. A lot of people are indifferent. There's a vocal minority that are, extremely against it. So I think that, I think we could literally say anything. I think we could literally say she's the best character ever. She's the worst character ever. She's in C. And I feel like we'll have people that disagree regardless.
You see, that's the thing about Max that's interesting, is that, until the story just kind of falls apart near the end, I think that Max is pretty well done.
I think she's better in every way. I think Adult Max is better in every way. I think it takes some
Yeah.
of that cheesy dialogue. I love Adult Max. I'm more than... This is why, Hunter, this is why I was willing... This is why I was like, oh yeah, put Young Max at the top of A, is because I would put Adult Max. She takes a couple of those little edges that I don't like. She feels a lot more well-rounded as a character. She's not making choices that I feel are out of pocket. I feel like...
Yeah. And she just really does feel like Max from the first game grew up.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
100%.
it's having all those goofy thoughts that people our age as adults would have.
She's
as far
still...
as the
she's
stupid
still...
nonsense that you see goofy thing, observe, make stupid joke that only you're gonna laugh at. I've been there.
She takes every, like, yeah, everything that I don't like about younger Max, and it's just like, yeah, she's just... I adore older Max. Like, there's people... It really annoys me. It really annoys me. I hate the community so much, but sometimes. But when it's like, it looks nothing like her, I'm like, it looks like her. Like, to me, that is Adult Max, where I was like, yeah, it does. It's her. That is her. I don't understand how you couldn't see it otherwise. I think Hannah Tell's doing a great job. I think everything...
Yeah.
She does everything. Yes, is the story hit and miss? Absolutely. But none of that is on Hannah Tell and her performance and just the way that Adult Max is. It is Adult Max.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, Max is in a similar boat to like Wolverine in the X-Men movies, where even though those movies are bad, he's still pretty good in it.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, I was having a conversation with my friend the other week, Fraser, when he finished it. And he said to me, he was like, I'm not a huge fan of Max. Like, he wasn't a huge fan of Max in the original live stream. He was like, actually, when I got to the end of Double Exposure, I'm not a huge fan of the story or where it ended. But the one thing that did win me over was Max as a protagonist. And I was like, yeah, there you go. And I think that's, you know, why she's slightly better in DA Safi. Oh, God, right. Hunter, you're going to have to talk me off the ledge, dude. You're going to have to talk me off the ledge.
Tale of two characters, right?
Yeah.
Like, really cool and compelling up until, you know, the end of the last hour of episode 4. And then, yeah.
Do you know what? She's like the anti-Jefferson in a way. And what I mean by that is, there's still, when you replay it a second time, there's still cutscenes and there's still moments where you sit there and you go, oh, that's interesting from the Jefferson POV. Yes, the plot twist is absolutely stupid and he mustache twirls and all that jazz, but you know, you can at least get something out of Jefferson going through episodes 1 through 4 again, where you can, you know, there's undertones to his character, which I appreciate. Safi is one of those things that once the other shoe drops, I never see the character the same way again. And I played through the whole of my second playthrough of Double Exposure hating her, to the point where it's like, oh, I fundamentally don't like this character at all now. Like, I just don't.
And then, like, even like the one trailer for Reunion that they showed where she pops up.
You just see her and you're grown. You just see her and you're grown. Like, that's the problem now, is you just see her and you're grown.
You're just like, oh, you again?
Yeah. You just expect them
and now
the
I
Avengers
can't see her as it. And then I can't, like, in like any time I imagine Safi doing anything now, it's just like this cartoonish Magneto type thing.
Yeah,
where it's like,
100%.
oh.
And it's really funny because I look at most of the characters in Double Exposure, and I don't know if this is, again, a controversial take. I think most of them are actually really good. It's the narrative that's the problem with Double Exposure. The characters are fantastic. Safi is the only one where the narratively fundamentally ruins the character. Where it's like, I do not like you as a character. Like, now where does that line up with this, you know, personality chart at this point? I don't know. Where would you say, Hunter? Where would you put her?
Oh, I don't know. Because you got to think about, okay, if the story didn't totally fall apart, where would I have ranked her? Probably, it was looking like, you know, in best case scenario would have been like A, but once that
I think
happens,
she'd be
D,
sitting,
so
to me, she'd be sitting around here. If she was a good character throughout, she'd be sitting around here. This is where I'd, you know, next to Ryan is where I'd probably see her. But like,
makes sense.
I think everything
so if we
that she do,
split
it drops
the
her out.
difference,
It drops her out of fucking B. I can tell you that
B
for a
for
fact.
sure. It puts her in like lower C if you split the difference.
I
And this is the
genuinely,
generous take.
I'd put her there because this to me is the split between characters that matter and characters that don't.
Characters that don't.
Yeah. So that's where I'd stick her. Like, genuinely, I'm not a fan of Safi. Well, speaking of, this is also my weakest character that I'm not a huge fan of, is Diamond. And it's not just because of the post-credit scene.
What was the point of that?
Oh, she has a nosebleed. You must be one of us. What's your superpower? Being boring as fuck? Like, my god. It's just she doesn't... There's a couple of interesting... I can't even say there's a couple of interesting moments, because here's the thing, is she's a lot of the time paired with this guy here, Reggie. And the thing with Reggie is the student who thinks they're shit and just can't get their act together. And I can find that kind of endearing, to the point where it's like, I understand why you're in this story. You are there just so he has somebody to sit next to in the turtle. Like, that's the only reason you exist. And to crush over somebody who's gay. That's also what you're here to do. So, like, narratively, other than the post-credit scene, you just kind of have no real reason to exist. Like, you're just there. Like, I can't even think of a story reason why you would, like, if you took her out of the plot, there'd be no change at all. Like, she just doesn't exist at all.
Like,
the Abraxas stuff is just lame.
Yeah, the Abraxas stuff was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I forgot all about the Abraxas stuff until you said the word, and then it was like, the sleeper agent passwords, and I'm like, oh, right.
Can you open the box, mate? Can you open the box? Can you get the badge?
Yeah.
I just don't care for her at all. She's my least favorite of the side characters of this game.
Yeah.
Just do not care for her. I'd stick her in like C. She's a C Andy.
Yeah.
She's a C Andy, but she's honestly like in this range here, where it's like these annoying members of school that you just don't want to deal with. Reggie's better than that, because, like I say, Reggie's at least got a bit of, character to him. There's some actual story relation to him, the fainting of him seeing double, I think he's the best, like, Max gets her best, like, teacher moments with him, of, like, bringing him off the ledge, basically, of feeling like a failure and like he can't do anything. I think there's stuff to him where he boosts the other characters up, even though he's not necessarily anything interesting, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'd still stick him. He's still like C, but I'd stick him higher.
Yeah.
I'd stick him more like it's like an Alyssa level than a like there.
They kind of fill in the same role in a way.
Marcus. What a homie, dude. What a homie.
What a lad.
You can't hate Marcus. You can't. You just can't.
No.
He's up here. He's like the Kate and Steph like kind of level, where he's like
like
he's just a homie. He's just a homie.
He's the dude.
When you see Safi in the reunion trailer, you groan. When you see Marcus in the reunion trailer, you go, "Oh well, at least we get Marcus." That's something good.
Like, for as much as episode 4 was the one where everything was starting to fall apart, I still, like, my one positive takeaway from that was, like, doing the gingerbread.
The gingerbread, yeah. It's a lovely little moment. I love that. Amanda. I like Amanda. I think she's fine.
Yeah, she's cool.
She's like... I'd put her at like Ryan levels, like, where it's like she's chill. I think the only thing with Amanda is she's very underutilized narratively. Is the only issue that I have with her, really, where it's like she's fine, she's cool, but also you've seen this kind of character a dime a dozen in Life is Strange.
Yeah. One thing before we move on, because I thought that I was going crazy for a second. Marcus's name is Moses.
Oh my god, we're cancelled, bro. We're cancelled. Of course it's Moses. Of course it's Moses. Oh my god.
I was like,
Scrub the tape. We're done. We're over.
yeah. You said Marcus for a second, and I'm like, wait.
I also was like, it's not in my head. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. But
I went with it because you had just like recently.
I only carried on going because I was like, oh, Hunter went with it, and Hunter remembers all the names. Okay, we're fine. I'm so sorry. I would like to write a formal apology. To be honest, I'm surprised I've got this many names right. If I'm honest with you, I think I'm doing a pretty good job, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, Moses, I feel so bad, dude. I feel so bad. You know what? I'm just gonna end the episode now. I'm so. You know what? Just for that, Moses, you're just going up. Dude. You go up. You go up for the. You go up a few points. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I feel shitty now. Anyway, Vin. Let's take it out on Vin.
He's like if you were to make the Nathan Prescott thing less drastic, you know, where he starts off thinking he's kind of a tool, and he is kind of a tool, but he's got his reasons for being that way.
I don't hate him. There are parts of him where he opens up a bit, and I'm like, when you're not pretending to be an asshole, you're all right. I just don't like you as a romance option, if that makes sense. It's the romance bit that I just have no interest in. As a character, I think I have no problem. He's like a B tier character. He lives in this kind of area for me, but I don't like the romance. Is like, no, not for me, mate. Not for me.
Which summarizes my opinion of all of Max's options.
Yeah, true. Asexual for life, dude. Asexual for life. All we need is a friend like Moses. That's all we need, dude. That's all we need.
It's true.
Let's do Gwen next. I like Gwen. Gwen's an interesting character.
Yeah, I think she's a solid one, you know? It's one of those ones where I feel like you end up screwing her over just trying to progress the story, and I feel bad for it.
Yeah, but like it is and it isn't, because it's like one of those weird things where it's like on my second playthrough, it's like, okay, I'm going to try and keep her on side. So I was doing choices that in my head, I'm like, these feel like bad choices, but in the end, they actually end up helping her. So it's like, there are ways to get her in a good place at the end.
Like,
It's just very hard for you to do that without feeling like an asshole in the process, you know? Like, it's like, trust me, in 3 episodes, you're going to be chill with me. Trust me, okay? Just
like, I do think that by the time I finished the game, she didn't hate me, but also the whole way through it, I'm like, oh, I feel kind of bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still think top would be. I think she's a B tier character. I think.
Yeah. I
like her quite a bit. I'd stick her like around here-ish. I don't know why we keep putting you fucking so high. You're in like 2 episodes. Stand your fucking ground. In fact, yeah, what are we doing? You are just sitting. You get fucking next to Biker Boy, okay? Like, what are we doing? You're here for 2 episodes. You're here again, but at least these guys showed up. Oh, fucking D. Well, I can't even remember what his name is. That makes me feel a little bit better that I've forgotten another name, to be honest.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Just
like
Joe.
Vince
Alderman.
Yeah, what a dickhead. I hated him. What a twat. Not D. He's not that bad. He's not that bad. He's not worse than the racist and the actual like predator, but he's worse than. He's okay, dude. Like, yeah. I'd stick him there on the scale of it's like the most scale of hardness for the but it's just
he gets unceremoniously dropped out of the story to where you're wondering what the point is.
Thank God for that. It is just like he is again, it's like, oh, we've done the, you know, with Pike, we've done the twist on the officer's racist thing. Oh, let's bring an officer in again and just do it again for Moses, where we just have this guy who's just like, yeah, it's gotta be Moses. He's black and he's gay. It must be him. Like, I'm like, do we need that really? Especially when it's like, I don't know. In my opinion, Hunter, Life is Strange, pretty progressive franchise. I think most of the people playing Life is Strange are pretty progressive in their, thoughts and opinions anyway. So I don't think we need these kind of shaking of fists kind of thing, because like, who are you teaching here? You think Brexit Barry's playing Life is Strange, dude? Like,
not for more than an episode, and then he's
Double Exposure. I think there's like I think in Double Exposure there's only like 2 straight people in the entire game, and they're both villains. Like, come on, did you think we're doing it? let's talk about Loretta. Correct?
Yeah, Loretta. She's cool.
I'm scared of every character now. I'm scared of every name. Hunter. I'm scared. I like her. She's all right actually. By the end of it, she gives a bit of narc kind of snitch vibes at the start, but by the further you get through it, I think she's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
She like kind of sits in this Vin territory, but I like her more than Vin because she doesn't hit on me.
I agree.
If the option was though, like again, Loretta better romance option than Vin. Anyone would be a better romance option than Vin, to be honest. Except for this guy, Lucas Colmenero. Again, I like to hate him.
Yeah, he's a good antagonistic force.
Yeah. I think that again,
it's funny how the Safi twist makes interactions with him more interesting retroactively than it does anything with Safi.
Yeah, 100%, because it's interesting, right? Because I love how it has that bounce back with him, because it's very easy and it's very it's been done in Life is Strange before, where it's like, oh, he's clearly the bad guy, and then they go, oh, actually you misjudged him, he's actually he's having problems with his family and Safi's being a bit of an arsehole. Oh wait, he was still a bit of an arsehole. You know what I mean? It does like the bounce back, where it's like usually Life is Strange just goes and he's an arsehole and now he's not. Whereas the game decided in the last half to go and he's an arsehole again. Like, I kind of respect it. The Maya Okada stuff is interesting. Again, I'd stick him in like B. He's pretty solid, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know where in B. Honestly, there's parts of me where it's like I understand him a bit more than Jed, and like there's a bit like,
yeah,
but where
I think we can put him above Jed.
He's like Jefferson if he wasn't a nonce.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I respect that. Nonce, get the nonce lower.
Like if Jefferson was just egotistical and not a creep.
Yeah, not a predator. Yeah, imagine. Yasmin, our final entry.
Yeah. I don't know if maybe the whole the story collapsing on itself kind of hurts my opinion of her the same way it does Safi.
No, I think that's valid.
Yeah.
Where is Safi in this?
Like in the middle of C somewhere.
She's like there. I'm putting Yasmin like kind of in the same place where it's just like slightly lower, because at least Safi has a couple of moments, whereas Yasmin just is very overprotective mother who would much rather have one of her her daughter's friends just chat shit to a newspaper instead of just taking the L on a student committing taking their life. Let's put it that way, so the YouTuber gods don't destroy the video. But yeah, and Frank again.
And Frank again.
Perfect. Right. Well, that was a 2-hour session to just relate the obvious. That Chloe, Rachel Amber, Max Caulfield, and Alex Chen are the 4 best characters in Life is Strange. Who would have guessed it?
Who would have guessed?
Dude, I'm just gonna be controversial, dude. I'm just gonna do a. I'm literally like that's. There you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not gonna read all these out because one, that's, as we have seen, getting 2 hours into this video, not remembering names of the characters from the game most recently coming out. I think it's for the best, or else I'll start calling everybody just their own names, like completely different names. But yeah, I'll read you at least like the top 10. Right, we've got Rachel Amber, we've got Chloe Price, we've got Max Caulfield older, we've got Alex Chen, we've got Max Caulfield younger, we have got William. We have got Moses. His name is Moses, and he is a king, and we stan Moses. Moses.
Moses.
We got Kate. We got Steph, and we got Nathan Prescott. They're our top 10. And if you're thinking 2 Maxes is cheating, then apparently somehow, I don't know how, we've got Rachel's dad also in the top 11. And feel like that's a rogue pick, but you know what said Duckies in 12. Godspeed, ladies and gentlemen. What a train wreck of an episode. You'd want an absolute train wreck. If you want to look at it, there you go. Godspeed. maybe every character in an entire franchise is a bit much for one of these. That's all I'm finding out. Also, I'm finding out I need to replay Life is Strange 2 because I've forgotten most of it. But hey ho, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go, everybody. Right, I'll put our little social tags on screen now. You can go follow us on socials if you want to keep up to date with what we do outside of the podcast. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, Life is Strange Reunion is here. Is it good? Is it garbage? We will be here to discuss it. Who knows? Maybe I'll wear my double exposure coat that I bought on sale at one point because that doesn't get used as much, and I feel like I need, not for like tax reasons, because you think this show makes any revenue? No. But it's a good excuse, isn't it? You wear a coat every week.
I do wear a coat every week. It's true.
Yeah. So why should I? Oh, maybe I'll start wearing a coat. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Right. I'm gonna leave it there because my voice is shot. Too much Life is Strange. Thank you ever so much for hanging out with us, guys, this week. We'll be back same time, same place next week for Life is Strange double exposure and reunion. We're not doing double exposure again. Could you imagine? Reunion.
Imagine.
We'll be back we'll reunite for Life is Strange Reunion next week. But until then, have an awesome week. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Toodaloo.